Shalom, and welcome to Light of the Hill Ministries. And in today's teaching, we will be continuing on our study of Genesis. If you want to follow along, I will be posting this in the comment box below and down under the teaching. And Havel also brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And Yahweh looked to Havel and his offering, but did not look to Cain and his offering. And Cain was very wroth, and his face fell. Genesis 4, verses 4 through 5. We have already seen how both offered what are called mincha offerings, or bloodless offering. Both offerings are brought from the labor of the brothers' own hands. This is the only similarity between the brothers here, because the Torah tells us that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, while Havel brought the fattest and the best of the firstling of his flock. The Hebrew word for fat is kaleb. Strong's H2459, fat of humans or of beasts, choices, best part, abundance of products of the land. However, we should not read this as though Havel slaughtered a lamb or a goat and put the fat on the altar as described in the book of Leviticus. Rather, we should understand the fat to be metaphorically describing the healthiest choice, as the book of Numbers tells us. All the best, the kaleb, of the oil, all the best of the new wine and the grain, their first fruits, which they give to Yahweh, I have given them to you. Numbers 18, verse 12. We could see here the heart of both brothers in their offerings, mincha, in that Havel's heart was sincere. Havel didn't just bring the firstling, he brought the best of his firstling. Havel put thought behind his action and offering. His offering reflected the love and sincerity of the heart that made it. Cain, on the other hand, simply brought fruit from the earth without discretion. In other words, Cain didn't bring his best, but simply what he wanted to bring. Just mere ritual isn't acceptable to Yahweh, nor half-hearted devotion. Mere religion is never to be an acceptable replacement for true heartfelt worship. If we want true worship, it must be done in spirit and in truth. Elohim is spirit, and those who worship him need to worship in spirit and truth. John 4, verse 24. What Yahweh was rejecting was not Cain himself, but what his heart was offering. That is, his own works, the works of the flesh. Cain thought mere religion would save him. That is to say, he thought he could save himself. Our animal nature, our fleshly work, can never save us. It is corrupted by sin, and Yahweh cannot accept sin. In contrast, Havel's offering was one of the Spirit. It was out of heartfelt and sincere worship, devotion, gratitude, and love. The second reasoning for rejecting Cain's offering was in his occupation, being a tiller of the ground. And again, she gave birth to his brother, Havel. And Havel became a keeper of sheep, but Cain became a tiller of the ground. Genesis 4, verse 2. Cain, the firstborn, is a tiller of the ground, or Adamah in Hebrew. So he brought forth fruit from Adamah. Remember that Adam, the flesh, was created from the dust of Adamah, earth. Cain, as we talked in previous studies, represents a man of the flesh. He is carnal, bringing forth fruits or works of the flesh. Both Yahweh and Apollos spoke on this issue. They tell us it is the spirit that gives life. The flesh does not profit at all. The words that I speak to you are spirit and are life. John 6, verse 63. And the works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousies, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, envies, murders, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like, of which I forewarn you, even as I also said before, that those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim. Galatians 5, verses 19 through 21. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the matters of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, the matters of the Spirit. For the mind of the flesh is death, but the mind of the Spirit is life and peace. Because the mind of the flesh is enmity toward Elohim, where it does not subject itself to the Torah of Elohim, neither indeed is it able. Of those who are in the flesh are unable to please Elohim. Romans 8, verses 5 through 8. Havel, on the other hand, was a shepherd. A shepherd, by definition, is one who exercises dominion over the animal nature. Man's calling has always been to be the image of Yahweh by taking authority over his animal nature. And Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all the creepy creatures that creep on the ground." And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim he created him. Male and female he created them. Genesis 1, verses 26 through 27. Havel represents the man who loves Yahweh with his whole heart, mind, and soul. Havel's goal was to rule over his animal nature so that it served and loved Yahweh. Havel offered up the best of his animal nature to Yahweh for his purposes. Havel lived in proper created order. He had offered himself up, a set apart and living sacrifice acceptable to Yahweh. I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of Elohim, to present your bodies a living sacrifice, set apart, well-pleasing to Elohim, for your reasonable worship. Romans 12, verse 1. Havel is the spiritual man who submits even his flesh to the will of Yahweh. Cain, the carnal man, was the firstborn, while Havel, the spiritual man, was the secondborn. Even Paulos recognizes the importance of the principle when he said, "The spiritual, however, was not first, but the natural, and afterward the spiritual." The first man was of the earth, earthy, and the second man is the master from above, from heaven. As is the earthy, so also are those who are earthy. As is the heavenly, so also are those who are heavenly. And as we have borne the likeness of the earthly, we shall also borne the likeness of the heavenly. Of this I say, brothers, that the flesh and blood is unable to inherit the reign of Elohim, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. 1 Corinthians 15, verses 46 through 50. Here is the beginning of a pattern of the secondborn being preferred over the firstborn. Havel's offering was accepted over Cain's. Yaakov was preferred over Esau, the first Adam over the last Adam. The earthly minded will always rise up and kill the spiritual man. This is generally how it works. Ishmael rose up to mock Yitzchak, and it was prophesied that he would be a wild man. And he used to be a wild man, his hand against everyone and everyone's hand against him, and dwell over against his brothers. Genesis 16, verse 12. Thus, the wild man, flesh, will always be wanting to kill the spiritual man. Esau was called a man of the field. As the brothers grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Yaakov was a complete man, dwelling in tents. Genesis 25, verse 27. Esau, the man of the field, flesh, rose up to kill Yaakov, his brother. And Esau hated Yaakov because of the blessing which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father draw near. Then I'm going to kill my brother Yaakov." Genesis 27, verse 41. And so began the constant war between the flesh and the spirit. A man will not rest until he submits his flesh to Yahweh as an acceptable sacrifice. Yahweh always rejects the flesh and never accepts the offering it tries to offer. Note the response that Cain has when rejected by Yahweh. But he did not look to Cain and his offering, and Cain was very wroth, and his face fell. Genesis 4, verse 5. We see here that Cain was wroth, and his face fell. Yet, once again, Yahweh shows his compassion and kindness and encouraged Cain to do what was good and right. It is Yahweh's heart to always be kind and compassionate, and to encourage us to do the right thing. We know that Yahweh never changes. Cain ultimately was the one who rejected Yahweh's compassion and kindness. And he also rejected Yahweh's wisdom and warning not to sin. And like Cain, fighting against the flesh is not an easy step in life, but it is the constant warring against it, in which our inward being is still corrupted by sin, transgression of the Torah. It means standing against envy, evil thoughts, and a number of other issues. Only as we understand the enemy of the flesh can we begin to please Yahweh. Yahweh is not content for mere external set-apartness. He wants our hearts. And he measures set-apartness based upon what lies within. But Yahweh said to Shemuel, "Do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For not as man sees, for man looks at the eyes, but Yahweh looks at the heart." 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. Fighting the flesh means primarily fighting against those attitudes of the heart that are opposed to Yahweh. As we focus on the inward man, our external obedience will improve. But external obedience is of little value if we do not love Yahweh with our whole hearts. To which Cain did not love Yahweh. Rather, he loved himself more than the creator of the universe who made him. If you want to be like Havel, a man of the Spirit, love is not optional. It is a command. It is very radical. You should love your neighbor as you love yourself. We should get up in the morning and feel as much concern for the needs of others as much as we feel concerned for our own needs. But our flesh wars against such ideas. I would rather seek our own needs as Cain did. It goes against the current of the world, and you find yourself swimming upstream with many obstacles in your way. All the more reason we need the Spirit to guide us through the currents to swim ashore where Yeshua is waiting for us. May we all reach the shores where Yeshua is, offering our best to him, as Havel did. Hallelujah. If you like this teaching, please comment, like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification button to be notified of the next teaching. Yahweh bless, and shalom to your homes.